Welcome back, Doom Tubers. Doom Waves here. It's been a while since we've done a video here, and yeah, I thought it was time to go ahead and get some of these pickups out of the way. I'm actually expecting a few more things, but I don't know, I just felt like putting out a video, and I didn't really want to wait for the other things to show up in the mail, so I thought I would go ahead and get it out of the way now. So, yeah, I actually didn't realize that I had as much as I do. A couple of recent pickups, actually several recent pickups. For a long time there, in about this month span or whatever it's been, it just really hasn't been anything. I just had a couple of things, and I didn't feel like doing a video on literally like 3 things. So I just waited and waited. Then I got a whole bunch of stuff kind of all at the same time. So let's just go ahead and get started. The things I've been sitting on for a while, actually. Nothing too major. A few things. Not as organized as I would have liked. Still trying to get things in order in the game room. I think I finally got a decent light set up to do my videos. My last video was in front of my computer, which is actually directly behind me, and as you can see, these are my game shelves, and my television is literally right in front of me, about 9 inches from the back of my phone, which is my camera. So yeah, still kind of a mess. So things are kind of unorganized, but we'll do the best we can. So the first pickup here is a movie that I don't recommend to much of anyone. We saw the first one, we kind of enjoyed it, and when we saw this in the $5 bins, we picked it up, and it's just not that good. I mean, if you're into like the exorcism type movies like I am, it may be worth a watch, but I don't know that I would even spend money on it again. It is The Last Exorcism. It kind of, part 2, excuse me. It kind of picks up where the first one left off, and I really kind of enjoyed the first one. It was kind of one of those just weird, bizarre exorcism movies. Yeah, and so I thought for sure that the sequel would be, at least decent, but I was wrong. And actually, when I picked this up, I was thinking of an entirely different movie. I was thinking of The Devil Inside. So I thought this was the sequel to that one, and The Devil Inside was was like a documentary about a daughter who had like hired some priests to go against the Vatican and perform this hushed exorcism on her mother. And so I thought I thought that what I was buying was the sequel to that one. Not until I got home and I really thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, no, this is a wrong movie. But I did enjoy the first Last Exorcism. That seems weird to say. But the second one, totally not that good. Also been sitting on for a while, actually even before our last AGP game night, when we played Street Fighter, I picked this up. It is an Afterglow wired PS3 controller. Now when I bought this, I actually thought I was getting a used DualShock 3, but when it showed up in the mail, it's actually a brand new Afterglow wired controller. But I was really okay with it because it was brand new for one, and I actually do like the Afterglow controllers. I like the 360 one quite a bit. I have one of those, and so I wasn't too disappointed, especially when I pulled it out of the package, and I was really pleased with it in general. One big thing that a lot will notice right off, I've got it kind of coiled up there, but the thumbsticks are offset just like they are on a 360 controller, which is kind of weird, but it's kind of nice if you're used to 360 controllers, and it's, the thumbsticks themselves are, have the little dip in them, much like the 360 controller. And then the triggers, the R2 and L2 buttons, have like kind of an outward curve to them. So they're really, really nice. I really like them. I don't want to say I prefer this to the DualShock, but it's really a really nice controller. So I was pretty happy with that. And that was only like $18, something like that. And in that same purchase, I actually bought it off of GameStop.com. And the only reason that I really did that was because at the time, it was the only website, major website right off that had just the vanilla version. Is that right? Vanilla version, standard edition of Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remaster. I kind of wanted the collector's edition, but I really didn't want to spend the extra money because I'm not real big on like art books and stuff anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'll just pay a little bit less and just get the standard edition because I was really just interested in the game. And I have the original like Brady Game Strategy Guide anyway. So I was like, you know what? I really don't need a lot of extras. So yeah, I was happy to get this, and I'm loving this game so much. I'm over 30 hours into this, something like 32 hours, something like that. And it's just as brilliant as I remember it on the PlayStation 2, and I'm having a lot of fun with it still. So that is it. And seeing those were really the only pickups that I had for a really long time, like almost the whole month, until last week. Actually got several things last week. One of them was a package that I had purchased one game from Mike Aerodynamic, and he gave me a really great price on a game that I'm really stoked to have. And he sent some stuff to Steven too, like Steven bought some stuff too, so he worked out a deal with Steven on the shipping, I guess, and sent everything to Steven, and then Steven forwarded it on to me because Mike is in the Netherlands, sending stuff to the States is kind of expensive, but he did write a letter, a very good letter at that, and I will read it. Hi Chance, through Steven, this letter and the games have reached your hands. At least I hope so, otherwise Steven has ripped you off. Enjoy the wonderful games that I hope you don't have yet. Thanks again for being a great buddy here on YouTube, as well as on the Another Gaming Podcast community. I really enjoy being part of it and chat about games all the time, no matter where I'm located in the world. No obscure shooters that I had in my collection. PC gaming did happen. Well, let's just say I didn't own any of them, but still played them. Daikatana, man, I was hyped for that. I think a lot of people were. In any case, outside the one game you wanted, some more goodness, partly from me and Steven. He wanted to surprise you with some games, and I was more than willing to help out. In any case, thanks for being an awesome YouTuber and friend on here. As mentioned, one doesn't run into fellow gamers here in the Netherlands, so it's great that the internet allows me to meet new people. On the back, I've written some thoughts on the games, but no spoilers yet. If you have been reading this letter first, enjoy the games. Mike, a.k.a. Aerodynamic, and that is supremely awesome because this is an amazing package, and I totally was not expecting anything beyond the one game that I purchased, just because, he gave me a really great deal, what I felt was a really great deal. I don't know what the game is really worth, but was what I felt was a really great deal on the game. And yeah, so the game that I purchased from him was a Japanese copy of Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn. Now, this game I've been really kind of itching to play, and I know it's on Xbox Live Arcade and PSN, and I might still download that. I might still download that and play it because I think it's pretty cheap. Because so I can actually read it in English, because this is the Japanese version of the game. And I was just really excited to get it. I know I still don't have a action replay for my Saturn, so I can't play it yet. I can't test it out, but I'm sure that it works. And if you've played played Code of Princess on 3DS, this is kind of the game that kind of preceded that game. And as far as the lane changes, and it's a really awesome hack and slash beat 'em up. Like, it's just a really great game, right up my alley, and I am stoked to have a copy of this. So, thank you, Mike, for hooking me up with a great deal. And now, doubly thank you for all of these games. Mike, actually, there's 5 games in this package, 2 of which came from Steven, and 3 of which came from Mike, and only one I purchased. He also sent me a copy, Japanese copy for the Saturn, Princess Crown. Now, I don't know too much about this game other than it's made by Atlas and I don't know if they were called Vanillaware at the time, but it is the people who are at Vanillaware now. So this game is definitely right in the same vein of Dragon's Crown and Odin's Sphere and Grim Grimoire and other Vanillaware games, Muramasa, that sort of thing. I think it's older than all of those, 1997, so it's older than all of those games, but it still comes from the same minds, and the art style, I'm sure, is very similar. I love looking at the artwork in this, in the manual and stuff, and I'm really excited to play this game. I think there was actually a port of this that made it to the PSP in Japan as well, so obviously I would love to get a copy of that too. I mean, just because you can play it on an American PSP, but I fully intend on getting a Action Replay or a 4-in-1 or whatever it's called that I need to play Japanese Saturn games on my Saturn, because I really want to play through both Guardian Heroes and Princess Crown. And then the last game that Mike hooked me up with, I did actually have a copy of this, but it was loose. So I'm really happy to have this upgrade, and it's a sealed copy of Front Mission on the DS, which is really awesome because this is a fun game, and I probably actually leave this sealed because I have the extra loose copy. So it's really nice to have the case and stuff, because when I bought it at GameStop, and it was just the loose copy. But I think these are kind of going up in value, so I'm really stoked. I mean, you totally didn't have to do that, but it was really thoughtful of you, and I know you were kind of looking to trim down your collection anyway. So, Mike, thank you so much for those 3 games. And now Steven was a very generous person as well, hooking me up with these 2 games. They both came from Mike. Like, Steven purchased them from Mike, and totally didn't have to do that, but that's just the kind of guy that Steven is. And he hooked me up with a couple of games that I'm really, really happy to have. The first of which is actually a game that I used to own. I played it quite a bit, and I loved it, and Steven was really interested in playing it. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to send you my copy. So without him knowing, I had already sending him a package anyway. I just threw it in the package and said, you know what, enjoy it, you know. And that is Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color. Now, mine was a loose copy that I sent to him. But, yeah, I got a boxed copy now of Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color. Now, it is complete. It's got the manual and the little cardboard insert and all that good stuff. And the cart is actually right here. In really, really tip-top shape, and it's just amazing. I love this game. I love the first Dragon Warrior, and the Game Boy port is actually, to me, even better than the original, if that's possible, you know, because it's essentially the same game. But the Game Boy ports were condensed a little bit and a lot faster moving. The grinding didn't take near as long. You were, leveling up went a lot faster. And same with Dragon Warrior 2. And actually, my save file somehow got corrupted, and I think it was because I took it out of my Game Boy player without turning it off. I think that's how it happened. So I never did finish Dragon Warrior 2, and I still haven't finished it on the original NES either. That game is kind of definitely a slog. But now that I have this game back again, I have no excuse. I need to go back and restart it, and so I can move on to Dragon Warrior 3, which I hear is a much better game all around. But it doesn't stop there, folks. He also sent me a complete and boxed copy of Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Terra's Adventure. And I know this is just Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, but there was 2 different versions of it. I think it's Kobe Kobe's Journey or Kobe's Adventure, and there's Terra's Adventure. I think it's very. I know that the game itself is very similar to the Pokemon series, and so I have to believe that the difference between Terra's and Kobe's adventures is similar to, say, blue and red version. Maybe just different monsters. And different monsters available to you, different whatever. But essentially, the story, the gameplay is identical, just from a different character's perspective, and obviously perhaps some different monsters. So it's a very cool game. I've only played about 30 minutes of it, and I can definitely see the blatant similarities between this and Pokemon, but I also see the very blatant similarities between this and just a standard, at least this game, Dragon Warrior 1 or Dragon Warrior 2. The music is the same, the monsters are the same, and the combat is more or less the same too. I mean, obviously you're using monsters to fight instead of your hero character, but essentially the commands are still the same. There's your attack and your item and stuff like that. I mean, if you've played a Pokemon game and you've played a Dragon Warrior game, you're really kind of meeting in the middle with Dragon Warrior monsters. And I think it's kind of a cool concept. I'm an old school Pokemon fan. I haven't been into the newer ones. I played Platinum, and I actually really liked Platinum. And I played Soul Silver quite a bit, but I haven't played anything beyond that. I didn't play Black and White or Black and White 2 or X and Y. I kind of want to. I don't know. The prices on those games never seem to go down, and they're fairly high commitment. If you're gonna do a lot of things, maybe not catch them all, but if you're going to put a substantial amount of effort into finishing a lot of the game, it's a fairly high commitment. It's 70, 80 plus hours. If you're not trying to collect all the Pokemon, if you're trying to do that, then it's far beyond that. But I don't know. It's just it's one of those things where I enjoyed my time with Pokemon in the past, but I'm really not sure if I want to commit to them. I don't know if I would have that much fun with them now. But yeah, back to the package. Once again, thank you so much to Stephen Lagamer and of course Mike Aerodynamics for hooking me up with some amazing games. I will never be able to repay you guys. I'm confident of that because you were so freaking generous. But anyway, this video is already 18 minutes, so we're gonna just move right along here. This weekend was at a thrift store, kind of not really that close to me actually. It was about an hour away from me, and I play music with my father-in-law. And we played a show at this thrift store. It was kind of a customer appreciation day. My father-in-law actually works. He does like heating and cooling. He works for the owner of the store. Like he put in the heating and cooling and the electric in that thrift store. So I mean they're good buddies. And we were asked to play music for this thrift store customer appreciation day. And as payment for playing. He didn't have to pay us anything. We were willing to do it for free because we enjoyed playing. But he gave us all four of us $10 gift cards to the thrift store, which is really cool. And my father-in-law insisted on giving me his as well, so I had $20 to spend at this thrift store. And yeah, I came away with some pretty good stuff. I did buy a game for a fellow YouTuber, and so I won't be showing that one in this video. But he knows what it is, and he will show it in one of his videos. But it was a PSP game, and I did pick up another PSP game that I was actually really interested in getting, and that is the Sega Genesis Collection on the PSP. Now, admittedly, this game, this compilation is not as good, to me, at least what I've experienced so far, it's not as good as the console version. It doesn't have near as many games, but it does have a lot of good stuff still. We got Sonic 1 and 2, Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4, Super Thunder Blade, Sword of Familion, Vector Man 1 and 2. Let's see. Columns, Virtua Fighter 2. All 3 Golden Axe games. It does have a lot of stuff here. It's a lot of games to keep you busy. And yeah, I mean, there's a few that I noticed missing. There's Phantasy Star 1 is not an unlockable on this one. Don't have Sonic 3 or what was it called? Sonic Spinball, the pinball one. I kind of like that game. I was kind of bummed out that it wasn't on here. And a couple others too that I can't think of right off the top of my head that didn't make it onto the PSP version, but I understand because a UMD cannot hold as much information as a DVD and or Blu-ray for the 360 or PS3 versions. So I still would like to pick up one of those. I actually have a copy of the 360 version, but it's actually not mine. So I've been playing it quite a bit, but I still would like to pick up my own copy eventually, so I can return mine to the one I have to my friend Mike. So yeah. And a couple other games, really nothing special. I got another copy of Risk 2 for the PC. I thought I had Risk 1, but it was disc only, and this actually has a manual, so whatever. This was 25 cents. I didn't lose any money on that. And like I said, I had a gift card anyway. But the gift cards actually is what paid for the PSP games. So I spent like $7 cash for this other stuff. A copy of MechWarrior 2 for the PC. Once again, this was like a quarter. I don't even know if I have a PC that will run it because it's like a 95, 98 Windows 95 or Windows 98 game. But we'll give it a shot, see if I can get it to boot up. And then a couple of non-games. We have a some VHS version of Beowulf. Sadly, it's only like 30 minutes, and it's like from some sort of like a library video company. So I'm sure it's very short and very not the whole story, but I bought it anyway for like a quarter. And this was probably the coolest thing. Even though that stuff is pretty cool, like the PSP games and stuff, this is probably the coolest thing, and this will kind of show my inner nerd, I guess. I was really excited to find Close Encounters of the Third Kind as performed by the Electric Moog Orchestra on 8-track. Now, yes, I do have a working 8-track player, and yes, I have listened to this, and yes, it does work. I was just really excited to have it, and it's got some selections from the original movie score and a few other selections performed by the Moog Orchestra that weren't on the movie. So, really excited to find that. I don't know why. It's kind of a prize, a trophy for my collection. I love stuff like this. It's just fantastic. And then the last bit here is actually a Facebook deal that my wife found, and this has kind of been going back and forth for about a week now, and a week and a half, something like that. I wasn't interested in any of these games. I'm probably not going to keep any of them. For one, I don't have a Move, and they weren't selling the Move for the PlayStation 3. They just sold some games and a controller. So for $12, I got a legitimate DualShock 3 controller. It's plugged in, charging right now, and it does work, and it works pretty well. I mean, I can tell that the joysticks are well used. You know, it's not a new controller, and I don't know, there's a little bit of gunk on it, but it is a working DualShock 3 controller. Happy to have that for like I think it was $6 for that, and 2 for each game, or maybe it was 3 and all the games were $3 each anyway. So I figured, whatever, I'll just buy it all, and I'll give the games to somebody who has a Move, because they're all really cheap. I got PlayStation Move Heroes, Zumba, complete with the thing, and then the only one that I may even try to play is, because it's compatible with Move, but you can still play with a controller, Cabela's Survival Shadows of Katmai, whatever that is. Yeah, I might try that to see if it works, but Other than that, I'm not interested in those 3 games at all. But I was really interested in a cheap DualShock 3, especially one that is in pretty good shape and does work. So I believe that was it. I think I hit everything. So sorry that the end of the video was kind of lackluster. I should have saved the package from Mike and Steven to last, but whatever, I didn't. Yeah, so we got a new episode of the podcast coming up here pretty quick. We recorded it last night, so it should be on its way. And, excuse me, yeah, I'm kind of grasping for things to say at this point, so I might as well end the video. 25.5 minutes in. Thank you for watching. Doom Waves out.